it's a great honor for me to introduce Major General Cuerpo. Background niya, he was the former commanding general dito sa 4th Infantry Division that love na love ko itong division. And si Sir kasi, he has spent 15 years dito. 15 years. And si Sir, grabe yung foundation ni Sir dito to really tell the 4ID story. 1990 kasi siya pumasok dito. Yun nga, mga awards, mga accomplishments niya. Ito yung first chapter niya. Sir.
I started dito, nag-report kami 1990 September. September after aming yung pre-deployment courses, airborne, special operations team at saka marksmanship training. Apat kami nag-report sa 58th Infantry Battalion na magka-classmates. I don't know kung bakit ganun ang desisyon ng headquarters na apat na officers ilagay sa 58, but at that time kasi yung 58th Infantry Battalion was recovering, no? Kasi nung time na yon medyo maraming debacles yung battalion. In fact, naging medyo nasa lowest rating ang battalion of the whole Philippine Army battalions, no? So we reported there sometime December 1990. Nagpisa kami doon sa 58 IB. I was assigned sa Bravo Company din. Nasa kami noon? Nasa Surigao Norte. That was in Barangay Mahanog, Higakit, Surigao del Norte. Together with ang aming XO na at that time, mista ko na rin, si Lieutenant Ernie Cruz. Middle of 1991, nagkaroon ng offer ang Special Forces Operations course for students. Supposed to be yung kaklase kong mag-attend, but for some reasons hindi niya kinuha. Binigay niya sa akin yung effort na yun, yung school, yung opportunity yun. So I took up Special Forces Operations course. Came back in 1991 sa 58 IB after the training, end of 1991. And then naging company commander kami. At the time kasi, nung time natin noon, Dennis, mabilisan yung turnovers ng company commanders dahil sa content, no? Dahil sa requirement at saka yung casualties there. So we became company commanders 2 years after graduation. No? Sabay-sabay kaming apat nilagay na battalion company commanders ng aming battalion commander. So ang hindi ko makalimutan na sinabi ng isang battalion commander namin at the time sa aming apat was he was advised by the brigade commander at that time na gamitin kaming apat na company commanders dahil magka-classmates. And at that time, ang NPA that we were confronting was Front Committee 16. Most of the strong front committees, isa na ang Front Committee 16 na sa Surigao Norte. Since mula noong 1992, ang operations namin, from over 100 sila, natapos namin siguro 2 years after, naging 12 sila, no? This was revealed by yung Front Committee Secretary. Ang hindi ko makalimutan na encounter namin noon was dahil nga uso, ayaw ko kung matanda mo yung git-git, no? Di ba? Yung sniper. Yung git-git, uso yan. During the operations, nung nakita ko, ito yung mga tactics nila. We changed our tactics na nag-adapt kami. Yun naman din ang tinuro sa atin sa school, adaptation. Nag-adapt kami ng ibang tactics. Nahirapan maghanap yung kalaban sa amin at that time. So, ang hindi ko makalimutan was yung encounter namin na nakuha namin yung commander ng SRGU Dahunog at the time. No? Nahulo and 4 of his kasama pa. It was a chance encounter dahil nga hindi nila kami makita, naririnig namin sila. We were able to hunt them. Nasa baba kami noon, nasa taas sila. And then,
Pero i-detalye nga natin na parang kuan ba? Pang Lito Lapid. kasi kung minsan mga general kung magano, parang shortcut pero ano sir ba for the public.
okay, ang aming scout noon was si then Lieutenant Eugene Mata, who became a Brigadier General. No? Retired na rin.
Sir.
And ang aming ang aming unit commander was my classmate, si Lieutenant Jose Augusto Villarreal, who became a Brigadier General also. No? And then ako yung sa isang platoon ng company ko. We were the main effort at that time. But there were 4 efforts, no, 4 unit efforts at the time nung encounter, yung operations na yon. Thank you, Dennis. Yung pangyayari na yon, yung paakyat na kami, si Eugene yung nasa harapan. Nung may narinig na kami, nag-stanto na. Inantay na namin. Nung makita namin yung anino nila kasi medyo paumaga pa lang, no, nakita namin yung mga anino nila. Nabilang namin 10 10. So nag-umpisa lang kami, nagantay lang kami nung makita na kami ng opportunity nung nakabulagaan na nakauna kami. Nakauna sila Eugene na nahulog, nalaglag yung 4. Because of that, I asked si Ted Villar na akyat tayo sa taas, harap tayo ng high ground to report this. Kasi yun naman ang ating connect ka agad sa ating tactical command post to report the encounter. So, nung na-report na namin, nasa rear na ako ngayon, nag-rear security ako doon sa grupo. Ginapang na naman kami. Mga 7 in the morning ata yun. Ginapang na naman kami ng around 4 na persons. Nakita namin armado. So, mabuti, alert yung nasa rear na tao ko, sinabihan na kami kaagad na mayroong gumagapang. Nantay lang namin, nung paglabas na nila, birahan na naman. Dahil malayo kami, malayo na yung area, nag-request kami ng fire support and may nakita si Eugene sa unahan na group of armed individuals. Nag-request kami ng fire support. Hindi kami makaya na ng FA support dahil malayo na. So, nag-decide yung fire officer noon at the time sa tactical command post, i-abante pa talaga yung so we were supported by yung ng field artillery. That was my first time na talagang naghanap ng paraan yung TCP masuportahan kami ng 18 rounds of field artillery.
Wow.
Hindi kasi nabilang ko lang. Nabilang talaga, nabilang kayo. Na yun. So, after that, continuous ito. Pagbaba namin sa aming rear area, nakausap ko sa radio yung front committee secretary at the time. Sabi niya sa akin na magkikita daw ulit sa bundok. So sabi ko, sige, kita ulit tayo sa bundok. But fortunately, the next week, nag-surrender na rin siya. Nag-surrender siya. So nung nag-surrender si front committee, his alias na noon is si Elias Renan. Kinausap ko siya at sinabi ko, di ba may nakausap mo na radio last week? Sabi niya, oh sir, ako yon. Sabi niya, oh sir, 12 na lang kami naiwan. Tapos binomba niyo pa kami ng 105, nagpulasa na. Naubos kami doon sa bundok. So, yung front committee is 16 at the time, nalusaw siya by 1992. So, nag-decide yung battalion commander namin, ilipat kami to Agusan Sur, Agusan Norte, 2 companies noon. Alpha Company at saka yung company ko. Alpha Company was then led by Lieutenant Gabriel Viray, who became also a Major General, ating division commander sa Tabak. So, kami 2 napunta sa Agusan area. So, yan yung mga
classmate ni Sir. PMA class 90 si Sir.
Those were the times na medyo, yun yung mga encounters na hindi namin makalimutan.
I love this format kasi sir, kasi background nyo, golf course, palaro-laro na lang kayo. Pero you used to be commander ng 4ID, which, yan ang background. And we love this camp so much dahil ang ganda ng community dito. Salimpusa lang ako dito ng CEO ako ng Ranger. Pero si sir kasi talagang native dito ng labanan dito. Yeah, mayroon pa siyang isang magandang encounter. Pero sir, ano ba nun? Noong panahon na yon kasi malakas pa sina MRGU. Andiyan pa yun,
Yes.
di ba?
Oo.
Paano nga sir yung...
Yung organization ng NPA noon, meron silang political organization, yung front committees.
Ano, sir?
And then meron silang military units din, yung MRGU, SRGU, or yung Main Regional Guerrilla Unit, at saka Sub-Regional Guerrilla Unit, Front Guerrilla Units. Ito yung mga, ito yung mga combatant units sila. Ganon kalaki pa, kalawak pa sila noong time na yon. Hindi ko pala naikwento nung first assignment namin dito. Actually, ang first baptism of fire namin, itong tinatawag nating Little Vietnam ng Northern Mindanao, itong bundok ng nasa Misamis Oriental, Lantad Complex.
Sige nga, sir.
Yung
Kasi
Lantad
na-interview ko
Complex.
si Takin eh. Sir, si sir kasi dating batcom ng 8th Infantry Battalion, dating CO ng 103rd Brigade sa Marawi, and then dito, he concluded his illustrious career dito sa 4ID. Pero yung Lantad kasi, medyo that is the... Sige, sir.
natin yan. Yan yung kumbaga, yan yung
Sa playbook,
best experience ng mga officers noong time na yon. Pag ma-assign ka sa 4th Infantry Division, Lantad Complex. Maraming kwento dyan sa Lantad Complex. Dyan din na-experience ko yung, I don't know, siguro luck na rin and God's blessing sa amin nung operations namin na yon. Muntik ako dyan na yung landmine nasa taas ng ulo ko. Nung nag-halt kami ng movement, paglapag ko ng aking pack sa likod ko sa yung parang lupa, yung platoon leader namin at the time, nakaklase rin namin ng pre-deployment course namin. Siya yung nagsabi sa huwag ka munang gumalaw at hinawakan niya yung wire papunta doon sa ulo ko. Meron pa lang IED dito sa ulo ko. Ganun kasi yung Lantad, no? Yung tawag natin Little Vietnam, maraming yung traps, no? Maraming mga
Suyak, sir.
Ponjay sticks,
Okay.
maraming butas na maraming mga matutulis na kawayan at saka ganun yan, parang experience dyan sa Lantad. So that's a classic yan talaga experience ng mga officers, personnel assigned sa 4th Infantry Division.
Pero sir, yung Caraga, Agusan, Surigao, I mean, siyempre kalakasan pa ng Father Navarro na neutralized 94, sir.
Oh,
diba?
94.
Pero he was the nun, sir, di ba? Na
Parang siya yung face of the NPA noon.
Sir, kasi si sir, I would be proud to say na si sir yung isa sa mga father, if not the father ng modern day tactics na ginamit ng armed forces to really reduce the NPA to ngayon, sir, 26 members na lang in 2026. Pero inaano ko, sir, for students of military history, let this interview, this golf course interview be a definitive discourse about yung mga sticks na nagamit. Binabalikan namin yung panahon ng yung 1990s na Git-Git, may MRGU malaki, na halos dominant sila.
Dominant hindi naman na ako ang nag-author but these were mga tactics na ginamit ng mga previous commanders and pinag-aralan ng mga officers and may konting mga improvements on the tactics by studying also the targets, no, mga kalaban natin noon. So ang laki talaga ng pagbabago nung mai-compare ko yung previous time to today. Ang laki na talaga ng pinagbago ng mukha ng itong communist guerrilla units reduced to its almost insignificant number na ngayon. To sa tulong-tulong ito ng mga small unit leaders, atong na mga tropa natin, and then mga commanders nung time na ito, no. Napakagaling din ng mga commanders natin din ngayon, piling-pili talaga, no, from small unit platoon leaders to up to battalion commanders, talagang pinipili na kasi. So napakadali yung paggampanan ng mga missions ng Army ngayon. Na umalis ako sa 14th Infantry Division 1997 as a captain, no. Napunta ako ng Philippine Army Headquarters for a few years dahil nag-ADCAM din ako ng dalawang Secretary of National Defense. Former Secretary Fortunato Abad at former Secretary Orlando Mercado. So ito naging added experience naman na
strategic level, sir.
As we go up sa ating career ladder.
Pero sir, sir, pwede bang sir tribute, kasi nandun ako bukas sa 58 Di Malulupig. And Di Malulupig kasi it's been a 4ID battalion ever since. Pwede ba siya bigyan mo ng counting background lang? At of course, para ma-inspire yung mga bata na magre-report pa sa Di Malulupig kung ano yung battalion nyo noon.
Pwede ko istorya yung
Yes,
yung
please,
worst.
sir.
Okay,
Yes, please, sir. Kasi meron kapag raid na matindi-tindi na napunta na sa mga libro, sir.
yung 58 IB, when we came in, para siyang ragtag battalion talaga at the time, no. Survived through a very difficult time nung nasa Surigao area pa siya. Halos naiwan sa isang company na lang, isang section na lang, naubo sila, either wounded or namatay, no. Patay yung company commander nila. Ang mga na-assign coming from different units, napunta parang kinumpul-kumpul doon sa battalion. So different cultures, different upbringings, medyo nagka-clash noon yung battalion. May internal na mga issues at the time. So medyo ito yung challenges namin nung second lieutenants kami. Paano namin mabago yung yung mga clashes within, magsusuntukan ng mga sundalo, hindi nagkakaintindihan, and much worse pa ng mga pangyayari na nadaanan namin. So fortunately naman, kaming apat kasi nung magka-classmates with the guidance also of our battalion commander at saka yung mga battalion staffs, na nabago namin yung attitude ng mga sundalo, because we showed to them yung paano yung maging yung camaraderie namin nung apat.
Okay.
So nung una daw nakita na this came from mga enlisted personnel. Nung kita daw nila kami pag magsama-sama, walang away, no. Sa kanila kasi pag magsama-sama from the different units, nag-aaway-away, may mga unit rivalries. And may mga regionalistic rivalries pa. May mga Ilocano, may Ilonggo, may mga Bisaya, may mga Surigao nun. So ganoon yung but nung nakita nila yun, and then we started developing yung camaraderie nila through sports, through joint operations, na doon na nag-uumpisa. From worst battalion, no, siya, by 1992 naging best battalion nitong 58 IB. Napakabilis ng kanyang change nung 58 Infantry Battalion. Magsalamat kami sa mga former battalion commanders namin. Nadaanan namin si then Colonel Evidente, then Major Ramos na naging Lieutenant General Bonifacio Ramos, then Major Rodrigo Muklang, naging Lieutenant General then, the late Lieutenant Colonel Rafi Pabustan, and the late
Namatay na ba siya, Rafi?
namatay na si Rafi Pabustan sa cancer. No? Ito yung mga naging commanders namin, daanan namin, the late Lieutenant Colonel Rafael Lieno. Yan, yung last ng battalion commander ko was si late Colonel Rafael Lieno bago ako umalis sa battalion. So, you see, ang battalion at the time talaga, napaka individualistic, no? Hindi siya run as a team. When we left the battalion, talagang napakaganda. Hanggang ngayon nga, magsama-sama kami ng mga old Di Malulupigs. Yearly kami nagkakaroon ng reunion, including the families na ngayon.
Ganun ba?
So, ganun ka-close na ngayon yung battalion na namin. And we are fortunate na karamihan nakatira malalapit lang, magkakalapit lang. So, madali kaming makipagkita. And now, the current 58 IB, which mga bago na ngayon, wala na akong kakilala doon. Iba na ngayon ang culture na ngayon nung batalyon. It has maintained yung kanyang excellence, no, in performing the mission. Siyempre, with the guidance of the leadership of the battalion commanders, no. Yung lineage ng battalion commanders ng 58 IBs, really, makita mo doon kung sino-sino yung mga naging battalion commander ay have been successful in their careers.
Kasi I'll do more of this dito sa aking YouTube channel. I'll do more of this mga talks with the generals. Hopefully palagi nasa golf course. Because lalo na sa mga bata na mga kadete, mga lieutenants, para makita nyo, like si Sir, wala tayo dito, si Sir babad na babad sa field. Yung panahon niya dito, gera, dinaanan niya yung development ng process. May organizational challenges, but it's part of the the development. And kasi much of yung depth ng isang officer comes from the initial experiences kasi Sir.
Experiences na.
Sige nga Sir, yung for this first episode Sir, ano yung bago kayo bigla kayo umangat kasi Sir as as sa taas, pero ano yung baon-baon nyo Sir na nung 58 IB days nyo pag alis nyo?
Okay. Ang learning ko doon really is when you take good care of your people talaga, including their families. They will be there for you for the rest of their lives. No? Ganun talaga yun ang learning ko na nakita sa if you treat them as a real family, parang family member mo, even if hindi mo naman sila talaga kadugo, but if they feel that you take care of them like a family, in combat and in mga rest times, nandyan talaga yan, tutulong at nandyan kasama mo sila palagi. Socialization, ito yung nakita kong talagang when you regularly talk to your persons, your soldiers, nakakonect sa kanila. You get to know them individually, personally, and nakakatulong sa iyo yun, especially small unit leaders. Nakakatulong sa iyo yun, especially on dealing with each individual soldier. Yun naman kasi ang challenge talaga sa small unit leaders on how to lead and how to influence itong mga individual soldiers who come from different backgrounds. Yun yung nakita ko, yun talaga ang nakita ko until this time, no. Hindi nawawala sa akin yan. Makipagkwentuhan, get to know the person. And you be real with them. Tunay ka lang talaga sa
Sige
kanila.
Sir, if we must end this first episode, bakit kailangan magpakatotoo ka rito Sir, dito sa Army especially? Bakit Sir?
Kasi talagang yung trust, very important yun sa atin, yung trust of a person. When that person knows this guy beside me ay maaasahan, in any situation. Yan ang isa sa pinaka-importanting nakita kong yung understanding why yung sundalo may trust dapat yan sa each with everyone na kasama niya. Yan yung and how to develop that is really you become real to them. Alam nila kilala ka nila when you get angry. Alam nila kung ikaw ay happy. Sa facial expression pa lang, alam na nila na ay hindi yan gusto ni sir, o hindi yan gusto ng ating platoon leader. Or pagka makita nila yung reaction mo, yung body language mo, alam na nila kaagad. That's the connection. Hindi mo na kailangan pang verbally to tell them na kung ano yung nararamdaman ng isang leader. Kita pa lang nila, ito na yung niyan.
Predictable, sir. Predictable
makita nila kaagad. And that has been my ang aking relationship with the soldiers mula pa noon hanggang before I retired. Ganun yun. Alam na nila kung hindi yan ang ni sir, hindi yan ang nila. So then they know me because of constant communications, no? Alam nila kagad na you verbalize yung mga gusto at saka hindi mo na yung mga direction na gusto mo, and from your actions sa yung body actions mo and facial expressions yan mababasa na nila.
And leadership becomes easy and followership becomes easier.
Yes.
So predictable. Yung magbabal dito yung maging may mga mood swings. Mood swings. Pero sa tagal kasi ng panahon, sir, alam na namin yan. Sa tagal ng pagsasama kasi, sir. I'm very happy. So, itong first episode ni Major General Cuerpo, loved by the Port ID. And nagpasalamat ako at pinaunlakan niya ako dito sa interview na ito.